Welcome back to the Blitzkrieg Intel Update number 2, in which we're going to discuss the SOPHIA cipher, which was actually solved on the night of the Gorod Krovi release, July 12th. I have with me a star-studded cast, including the well-known COD's archiver Tak, the longtime and veteran member of the community Lizizadolphin, and WaterKH, who is renowned for his skills in cipher cracking. So, I want to talk real quick about the discovery and the solving this cipher. Water, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was actually posted first by someone named Silas on Reddit, and the person who actually solved it was called Dark Mega Hot, who actually used what I think is called a hex editor or something. It was actually Octal, but yeah, we'll definitely get into that later.
Great, okay. So, since we know everyone's here for the plain text of the cipher, we'll get straight to that. Reality or dream? It is becoming harder and harder to tell. He came to me again last night while I was on my nightly walk through the countryside. He told me about the location of a book called the Chronorium, said that Richtofen needs to acquire it if we are ever going to set things right. The book contains the location of a device called the Summoning Key. I will contact Richtofen in the morning. So, Lizizadolphin was talking earlier about, who could possibly have written this cipher. And Liz, do you want to kind of expound on your thoughts as to, who this could be?
Sure. So, the cipher itself starts out as reality or dream. It is becoming harder and harder to tell. Now, we know from, a radio in Setsubo no Shima, that for Maxis, reality itself is shifting. In addition to that, we also know that his mental state isn't necessarily to be trusted. We know in Origins that he started to lose it a bit, and he was going to be reported to the higher-ups by Richtofen. But from an entry in the terminal from Black Ops 1, he talks about the way that Edward watches him, he watches Samantha, he watches SOPHIA, and the monkey that Edward created, that maybe it's the 115 affecting his mind, that he can no longer tell. Plus, in addition to that, Maxis in the Setsubo no Shima radios talks about how someone who their presence defied logic and defied reason, they were there. So, he's talking about someone walking with him. Could be that mysterious person.
Now, the fact that we're in a multiverse tends to bring up questions in so many different areas. And once again, here we are in yet what seems to be another universe. We've just fallen through a portal based on the cutscene. Who knows? It seems like an entirely different universe from the others that we've seen in Black Ops 3. I mean, what Maxis are we dealing with here, if that's the case? I mean, what's even the time frame for this cipher? Tak, you had some thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it seems like there's always been this missing chunk of time in the zombie story since Black Ops 3. Blundell has talked a lot about how he thinks that the interim between maps is as important as what happens in the map themselves, so he likes to tease at that a lot. Between Origins and the Giant, there was a 2-year period that we pretty much have no idea about. And in that time, that's when Richtofen found the Chronorium and did that whole thing, as we found out with the recently announced comic where he picks up the transit crew to help him. And so this cipher, he says, Richtofen doesn't even know about this meeting where, the Chronorium has been divulged to the person in the cipher, probably Maxis, like we said. So it seems like this is taking place in that 2-year period of time before Shadows of Evil and after Origins, but beyond that we can't quite pin it down, it seems like.
Well, definitely great thoughts based on what we know. Of course, I think that this one has a lot of potential for us to speculate on, but hey, I mean, we know what the Chronorium is now. At any rate, it's a book, so that's laid out right in front of our face. So real quick before we wrap up, Water, you mentioned the different types of ciphers earlier, and what did you say y'all ended up determining this was, and what are some little bits that you can actually tell to laymen like us that we might understand about this particular cipher?
So this is I wouldn't necessarily call it a cipher, more of an encoding, and it's encoded in Octal, which is you basically count from 0 to 7, and then you roll over back to 1. Kind of like if you guys have seen Mr. Raffle Waffles or Milo's keeper videos where it's like base 9. It's kind of follow the same pattern. So basically, there's ASCII letters that equate to values in Octal, and basically you just find those values and translate. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, now I know.
actually kind of caught some of that.
Right, that kind of made sense to me. I'm with it.
Great. Well, guys, thank you all so much for coming on to talk about this cipher, the SOPHIA cipher. Thanks so much for watching, folks. We will see y'all next time.